Alright, hello again everybody. And today we've got a jungle Fiddlesticks. I almost said support because I saw the wards. But he does have smite, so it will be a jungle Fiddlesticks. And at the beginning of the season I thought Fiddlesticks would have been a terribly, not terrible, but a terribly strong jungler. Because of the changes to items and changes to the jungling. Because he can keep himself so healthy and whatnot. But as it turns out, he's still not phenomenal. But he still does fill a role. He still does fill a great niche. Nintendude played him. He's a jungler for Team Coast, and he played him as not as really an AP carry, but more as a tank. And he would just solely really rely on his base values while building quite a bit of health and tankiness, such as armor and magic resist. But anyway, getting a smiteless blue leash always helpful, so you can quickly take that red buff next and hit level 3 very, very quickly. And just going through the lanes real quick, let's head up to the top first. We've got Xin Zhao against Riven, so that could be a snowball lane in either direction. Xin or Riven can all in each other fairly early, but I believe Riven could easily win those trades. In the mid lane, we've got Corki going up against Lux, and it's not an AP Corki, it is an AD Corki. And then going down into the bot lane, we've got ourselves a Caitlyn and a Lulu. And is that? Oh, I thought we were going to get first blood there. Caitlyn and Lulu going up against Sonatress. So, battle of the poke, essentially. Wow, Riven already taking out Xin as I was about to go back up there, too. So, doing it fairly handily as well. Nice work. But anyway, Fiddlesticks now has both buffs. He did ward here. It's a good decision. Try to prevent someone waiting to counter jungle. So you can clear that buff in the open. But at the same time, other thing, what you can always do is grab the buff and then just walk it in. But I could go back and watch, but judging by the time on it, it does seem like he dropped it in before he even started on the buff, just so he wasn't kind of bursted by Sejuani right off the bat, make sure no one was waiting for him. But anyway, how to build, how to itemize, how to skill pick Fiddle. Fiddle, his ganks are going to heavily rely on his fear, his Q called Terrify. At level 1, it'll be start at 1. But at level 5, it goes up to 3 or like 3.3 seconds, something like that. So it's one of the longest CCs in the game. And so, Drain, you really only need like 2 points in it, especially going up to like level 10. You really only like two points. You clear those camps very quickly, and start to really put those points in Dark Wind. Dark Wind will help you clear those camps way faster than that Drain will, especially since they do double the damage to minions. You can see 65 plus 19 with the AP scaling, and that will be doubled on any creep or, I believe, monster. Minions and neutral monster, yeah, up to increased by 50%. So it's a huge deal. So you kind of want to get 2 points in Drain, rank up that Terrify as much as you can, and then just throw points into your Dark Wind, all while scaling up your ultimate every chance you get. We see coming down for a gank here, did walk through a ward, so that's going to be, they're just going to play very safe on that one. Unless we get a Flash Terrify, I don't see anything coming from it. No, Flash Terrify, there we go, with the silence, but still going to manage to jump away. That stinks. If that was going to happen, we needed to Flash Fear a little bit sooner, because it would have kept her a little bit closer, forcing her to jump around to here, and that should have been able to secure the kill. But anyway, a very key thing about jungling Fiddlesticks, when you try to gank, be it the top or bot lane, if you try to lane gank, if the enemy is smart, you take a look at the creep, take a look at this debuff, I don't know if you can see it, but Sense Dread, that's Fiddlesticks' passive. It shows up on every potential enemy for Fiddlesticks, I believe except for Dragon and Baron. And so you can tell if he's camping a bush just kind of by having one of your creep highlighted while you're trying to farm. And if you're top or bot lane, if you see that come up, you just know to back off a little bit because you know something painful is about to happen. We see Corki getting caught up by Lux, and once again, not much is going to happen. So a very slow game except for the first blood up top. It seems like Xin is trying to stay as even as he can, even though Riven with that kill does have a 19 farm lead. She actually went back, pick up a Vamp Scepter and Cloth Armor, so she's going to be very healthy, could easily bully out that Xin. And Corki, constantly getting caught out by those light bindings. So it seems like the game is not exactly going in favor for Fiddlesticks team right now. But at the same time, one good ult, one good Crow Storm, which is I was talking about Fiddlesticks Ultimate, could actually be very, very game changing. Why are we leaving? Oh, so he spotted out the Corki's caught, but I don't foresee him really able to live. Actually, able to he's taking out the Lux, but Sejuani's gonna be able to clean that up very easily. So good idea, good intentions, but when you see someone that low, especially once they blow their flash to be super aggressive, you know that they're not gonna live. So better just keep on farming, go to your camps. And seeing Caitlyn back with Lulu coming up, I would even, being so healthy on mana, I would just go try to pick up that Wraith camp as well. Especially since that blue buff should be up in the next several seconds. Anyway, going straight for a Seeker's Arm Guard, not going for any sort of jungle item in the slightest. We're not going for a Spectral Wraith, Ancient Golem, what have you. Going straight for that Seeker's, trying to rush Azonia, so looking to be the jungle AP carry Fiddlesticks. And he's doing that simply because Corki, even though Corki's kit does have a lot of magic damage to it, he does eventually scale much harder with AD. So Corki's Q, W, and E do magic damage. I believe his ultimate does do magic damage. Yep, everything does magic damage, which is why a popular build now is to see him get Triforce with Sorcerer Shoes, because Spell Pen will increase his ability damage by quite a bit. And something that I may have done would have been actually taking that blue buff selfishly, taking that second blue buff, and taking Dragon. Something a lot of Fiddlesticks don't tend to do. Getting that cooldown reduction, mana regen, you can spam out the drain, stay very healthy on mana, and just drain tank that dragon for as long as you desire. And it looks like we're going to opt to go for that red buff instead. Oh man, that's rough. I would have almost opted to take the blue and donate the red. Take the blue, donate that red to Corki, because then Corki can Valkyrie in and just kind of keep Lux a little bit screwed, because she's not even going for armor. So Corki should shred through her between the true damage and then just his sheer 80 that he has. But Lux is playing very confident with her shields. She's got that blue buff so we can spam those out. With Xin gone, we're going to set up in that lane, make sure Riven doesn't try to push that much, but she was already gone. She only had like 80 health, something like that. So now in terms of building this fiddle, let's see, he's now got 3 points in Drain. Drain should not be your main source of damage. Drain is more for like a sustain going through the jungle, as well as like if you have everything else on cooldown, then you kind of channel that out. That was a very odd flash. Oh, that may not have been terribly smart. Luckily enough, Sejuani already had her ult on cooldown, and Sona isn't 6 yet, but if that were the case, that Caitlyn could have been very, very screwed. But while all this action is going on, Fiddle doing the smart thing. And this game is brought to you by For My Negros, I forgot to mention. That's quite a name. But anyway, I would really like to see more points in this Terra fight in Darkwind. Your clears will be better, your ganks will be better. The drain, once again, I'm going to keep harping on that, is just for the sustain. And I would not want to be ulting in right here if I were Fiddlesticks. Riven can still kill you even if it's under the tower. Oh, he's going to go for it. Oh, Xin is there. So it actually might work out pretty well. Xin just needs to get that dash on. Oh, Xin, you needed to get that dash. It would have been a very easy kill. But instead, she's going to get away. Oh, wow. That stinks. Riven doesn't even have any magic resist on her. That was a lot of damage, even with the tower helping out. Just not enough. And that's pretty much because we're not skilling up the Terrify and the Dark Wind. Like one extra point in Terrify would have wound up being one extra tower hit on her. So let's see, we're trying to push this tower. Sejuani is going to pretty much prevent that. You can see Drain does not do that much damage. Rank 4 already, and it's only going to do, let's look at it, 150 plus 28 magic damage each second over 5 seconds. So it could do a potential of what, 700 damage to someone with no magic resist. But that channel's never going to last full duration. Generally, people will run out of it, or you'll get knocked up or stunned, something along those lines. So it's never really going to last that long. You're better off with the more reliable damage of the Dark Wind. So Crowstorm going to be coming up in another 50 or so seconds. It's a pretty long cooldown, a little over 2 minutes. Not quite as bad as like Nocturne, which I believe is just about Nocturne or Shen, which is about 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes. But for someone who it's like the staple ability, especially as an AP jungler who's going to be way stronger in the early game, without much farm, you really need those Crowstorms to be churned out. So I'll say it again. Probably opt to take that blue buff. And probably even play Fiddlesticks if you have a manaless champion or someone that just really doesn't rely on blue buff. So if you can get a mid laner like Mordekaiser, Zed, even Lee Sin, even, you do fairly well. Oh man, this bot lane is none of your lanes really having a good time right now. The only person that's doing remotely well is Corki. That's because he has a kill. And oh, are we gonna be able to pick up? That's one kill. Very nice flash into it. Now there's that brief Terrify, and that should be an easy cleanup for your teammates. For some reason they're not opting to kill her. I don't know why. That took a little long. Lux Laser going to hit nothing, but she might be able to clean up because Chisana's on her way back. I fear that this will be the death of Fiddlesticks. Getting that Terrify out. Rank 2 finally. But, yep, there he goes. Unassisted kill for Lux. But while you force Lux to dance around, your team takes the tower. So a good trade-off. Your team actually came back on gold. That's a pretty big deal. Especially since Riven's been snowballing pretty heavily. Xin finally opting to go for that Chain Vest, not for the raw damage like he had planned. And now, let's see, what are we opting to go for? We've got Boots of Mobility, so going to be able to run into these ganks pretty well, not really needing Crowstorm that much anymore. Well, it's not going to be your main initiator. You can simply just run into an enemy and fear them. And you can even save that cooldown. So a couple more points in that fear will go a very, very long way. So in terms of runes and masteries, we are running, it appears to be 8 Magic Pen from marks, along with 8% from masteries, so going pretty far out on the offensive tree. At the same time, we have 10% cooldown reduction, so in my eyes, I'm seeing maybe we're going 9-0-21. Not entirely sure on that one, but our armor count besides the Seeker's Arm Guard is fairly low. It looks like it's more along the lines of base with the Seekers attached to it. You can see we are sitting on 30 armor plus the scaling, another 13, so that sounds about right. Now looking around the map, it seems like we're making a beeline for that blue buff. You need to try to keep a little bit better tabs on that because that blue buff, I believe, came up around 12:20, 12:25. So it's been sitting there for like a good minute and a half. And we're still opting to just run around the map. Even though they were just fighting right here, Xin getting duoed by, I think, yep, Lux and Riven. So there we go. There's the move I've been looking for. I was just about to comment on that. Finally going for this dragon. So the enemy team's going to take that top tower. Your bottom tower was taken. I didn't see that go down, but... What is... Corki? Corki. Push this dragon faster and your team can help you. Anyway, this will be a guaranteed dragon. Get that smite in. And then in turn, we should go quickly see that blue buff get grabbed. Crowstorm is up. Not quite that rank 2 ult yet, so everyone's starting to get higher up in levels, so that rank 1 ultimate's not going to be nearly as powerful, but it'll still be fairly strong. You can see, maybe got off like a tick of the drain, and Lux just shielded the whole thing. So it's essentially just a big mana suck. I apologize for constantly harping on it, but I'd like to try to drill it in. Dark Wind, Terrify. Dark Wind, Terrify. Almost want to go like on and off on those abilities. We got a big ult coming here. That could have been easily interrupted. I'm surprised it wasn't, but now we're not hitting anything on top of being exhausted. And now manaless, so this is going to be a pretty tricky situation. My guess is you guys might just be cleaned up 1, 2, 3. Yep, there you go. And Lulu might get caught up by this Tristana, but Lulu could almost kill Tristana. But that's not even going to be close. Yeah, that's a very rough situation. And this all really stemmed from not getting that kill on Riven under this tower. It's such a tough thing to swallow. It's a tough situation. But getting that kill on Riven would have allowed Xin to farm up a bit more, allowed him to potentially even outscale her in levels a little bit, and make a much bigger impact in the top lane. Therefore, keeping Sejuani really out of this bot lane, because she was down here quite a bit, and allowing you to be a little bit more proactive with ganks instead of reactive. So now we are just sitting on that Seekers. Looks like we're going towards a Merlot Nomicon, getting some cooldown reduction and a healing debuff. And a little bit of AP as well. So all very, very good stats for Fiddle. Cooldown reduction being like the number one. So you can spam out those fears. And Dark Winds. Keeping people silenced and feared. And then also reducing the cooldown on that ultimate. Because the more you can get out that ultimate, the more you can burn summoners, the more potential kills your team can pick up. But the biggest thing being the more objectives your team can kind of focus. So this blue buff is still sitting here. I think it's been there for like well over 5 minutes now. And instead we are opting to go towards Wraiths. So you've been level 8 for a very, very long time. Sejuani's level 10. That's because she's been clearing her jungle, keeping herself controlled. A good 20 farm and 3 assist above you. At this point, Fiddle, you're there for more or less a fear bot. Picking up the red buff instead. So I think a huge issue in this game. I don't know if you may have blamed your team or not, but I don't think it's so much your team's fault as it is some of the decision making on your end. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I may sound like a jerk right now, but being level 9 when the enemy jungler is... Did she just hit level 11? No, she's halfway level 11. Like, just hitting level 9 when she's about to hit level 11, and skilling up what I'd classify as wrong, that's going to make a huge impact on the way the rest of the game goes for your team. So, something you want to keep in the back of your mind. You want to really be mindful of keeping control of this blue buff. Keeping control of the blue buff will really boost your experience level, and in turn, you could have a lot of dragon control, especially early on. Like, that second blue buff, you can easily take dragon. And then on top, then from there, it can slowly but surely snowball your team. So early on, it may not seem like you're doing a lot. People might say, Phil, you're not ganking. But at the same time, you're getting him an early dragon, and you're getting a big experience lead because the base values on your abilities are pretty damn strong. Let's see, like still at rank 1 ult, and it's doing 180 per second, I believe. Yeah, for 5 seconds. So that's a lot of damage. That's just rank 1 too, so and rank 2 I believe it goes up to like 250 base, something like that. It's really nothing to scoff at, especially since it's 250 per second over 5 seconds. So if you manage to lock someone in there, you can do like half their health with just one ability, and that's in AoE. So now let's see what's going to happen. It looks like we're baiting out. It looks like we know that Tristana's here, but not really doing much of anything. Could easily try to ult over this wall. But now Sona, one crescendo, and that'll be lights out for pretty much your whole team, because Sejani's right there with her ult as well. And there it goes. Oof. Crowstorm coming in, but were you just exhausted? Nope, no exhaust, but didn't even matter. Tristana buster shotting away. Xin doing a lot of damage, but Riven's going to come down and clean this up fairly easily. I mean, the big damage has already been done, really. Yeah, there goes Lulu, there goes Xin, and that's a very snowball Tristana now. That's going to hurt. So I'm going to speed through this. I'm guessing it's going to take a while for us to catch up. Ooh, that's a little too much. A little too much. So now let's see. What items are we going to come back with? Still going towards that Morel Nomcon. Having the cages lucky pick. Personally, I think I might even opt to go for the cages first. You started with the ability tome. I believe that's what it's called. Amplifying tome. Ability tome. What am I thinking? Amplifying tome, and then right from there you can go right into a cages. So get the gold pretend rolling. Get that income coming in. And then later on, it still wouldn't take that much longer to pick up that Seekers. Because that 2 to 3 points initially in Drain, preferably 2, you're going to stay fairly healthy in the jungle. You'll have a good chunk of AP. Then with that second blue buff, you can pick up, let's say, an armor or 2, or another amplifying tome in an armor, and easily take that dragon after that second blue buff. And having the dragon stolen. So, wow. This is very, very rough. I'm thinking about just fast forwarding to the end because this game is just really getting out of control. And the biggest impact, I'd say, are the ability choices, the item builds, and some of the decision making, which we've covered heavily. I don't really want to rub it in too much because I'm not trying to be degrading. I'm trying to be informative. That's the point of this, though. It's to improve. Don't forget that. It's to improve. So who knows? Maybe we'll have a comeback. Though I don't exactly foresee it because when someone has a gold lead this big this early on, it's going to be very, very tough. Especially going against the team comp that you're going up against. Lux, Tristana. Lux and Tristana alone are tremendous late game champions. And I hope this isn't people just... Oh no, it seems like we just have a mass disconnect. Wow, a mass disconnect. Oh no. Oh no. Wow. What is going on? This was unexpected. So this actually gives you a bit of a chance to farm up and come back into this game. Wow. I usually don't like saying, well, the only way you can come back is having a team disconnect, but it looks like you're getting your little opportunity because your 2 carries are still in the game, still able to farm up, and so are you. Meanwhile, a couple of them are reconnected. We're still waiting on Sejuani. So now Nomicon is completed. I would actually think sitting on the cages as long as humanly possible until you have the Zonias done. Because that gold generation will play a huge, huge role in that. And then once that's done, then quickly pick up the Nomicon. You get that debuff, cooldown reduction, extra mana regen. But the Zonias, especially now that you're in a team fight mode, it's a really, really big deal. Because then Tristana can't buster shot you until the stasis is over. Yeah, why is this timer following my mouse? That's annoying. Alright, so once again, another tower going down. And with everyone, except for Joanne reconnecting, it's still looking fairly grim. So it's still a 4-on-5, but at the same time, you guys don't know that. So at any point, you might be expecting a Sejuani ult to come clean across. And yes, I know we are still on 2 times speed because nothing really of interest has happened. Just a lot of farming, a lot of pushing, trying to defend and whatnot. And stepping right into that ward. Big kill on Tristana. That's rough. And now Sejuani's back. Yeah, so at this point in the game, I would almost have expected a surrender, but we can see the timer. We can see that there's still another, like, 11 minutes to go in this game. But, I mean, if a team's at a point where they're just diving through towers, even though this second tower isn't here anymore, they're just diving through, hoping for the remote chance of a kill without a care, you know you're kind of in some trouble. But good on you. That was actually a very, very nice observation. You realize that Tristana jumped on you because they had vision. And the vision is more likely because there's either a ward somewhere around here or in this bush. So dropping in this bush, maybe a little bit closer to here in case it's on this far side. Gonna slow down a little bit. Because it could be at the same time, like, see where Sona just warded, it could be somewhere along this far side. So if you place it right on this almost edge of the grass here, it should cover going through here, as well as this area surrounding. A very nice observation, remembering that that was warded. Pick up a ping ward to try to get control of that area again, but Sona being right on top of it, also cleaning that ward up. So anyway, where were we? Let's go back to fast forwarding. See if there's any point in this game where we can make a big recovery. I'd say the biggest play right now would be see if you can bait the enemy team into trying to do Baron and stealing that away, but uh-oh, that's going to be... It should be a dead fiddle. Luckily enough, your team was there to help out. And Riven, actually, she blew all of her abilities on you. hoping to get a very quick kill. And by just barely getting away, I believe Lou also... Did Lou ult you? I'm not really paying attention. I'm trying to get this thought out. Having everything focused on you, and somehow luckily getting away with no flash on you at all. There's a whole lot of gold invested in that Riven. There's a whole lot of gold invested in that Lux, and by not cleaning up any sort of kills, that could be like a glimmer of hope, a slight little glimmer. So now let's see, going for another amplifying tome. I don't know where that's going to lead. My remote guess, would be Spectral Wraith, either Spectral Wraith or Void Staff, but I don't know. There's really not much Magicus at all. There's an Aegis out, and there's one Negatron, but besides that, it's really all health, damage, and a little bit of armor. Sona does have a Chalice too, so I could see the Void Staff, but at the same time, the team's just really lacking in raw damage. Come, camera, listen to me. Just thought I'd be able to get away very easily. And now the only thing you guys can really do at this point is just farm. You do have two 80 carries. But at the same time, they have a Lux. And Tristana is, in my mind, the single best late game 80 carry. I think that her mobility, her attack speed steroid, and her fight control is really matched by nobody. Though I can definitely see like a top tier pro team using this sort of comp where Corki is a big mid game carry, and then you got just Caitlyn, who's more of a late game carry. But now another tower going down. This gold lead hovering at 8.2 thousand. It's a very, very tough situation because right now the enemy team can really just. Sona had an Oracles, no Oracles on Sona. If she did have one, they could easily go clear wards and kind of bait a Baron fight. And if they do bait that fight, more likely than not, they will end up winning. And that could also be a free Baron or even game ending. But at the same time, with no inhibitor down, oh no! Caitlyn getting absolutely melted, and you're nowhere to be found. So there's really no way to respond except for a big Crowstorm right here. But there's really no AP or penetration on you, so this might not work out so well. Doing a little bit of damage, but Tristana able to get... Oh, restarter jump, but Quirky luckily able to clean that up. But even under the tower, they're able to tank this up and clean up this fight pretty handily. Riven doing a massive amount of damage. Wow, legendary Lux. 10, 1, and 12 Lux. Oof. So, once again, go back to fast forwarding. We had out a blasting one, so yes, my assumption seems to be correct, going towards that Void Staff, but cleanup after cleanup. Corki, wow, actually managed to pick up Riven. And will Lux, yes, Lux will body block. Now, in terms of comboing abilities, once you get out that Terrify, are we at rank 3 yet? We're at rank 4, so that's 2.5 seconds. Lux doesn't have any sort of tenacity. You shouldn't be looking to actually wait a little bit. So put out the Terrify, allow your team to catch up, and then, just as the fear is about to end, throw out your silence, because the silence does last for 1.2 seconds, and it can hit multiple times. And so it'll be 1.2, and if they bounce multiple people, it could be, 2-3 seconds of silence. It's a lot of crowd control within two abilities. So, once again, minor little details. But inhibitor is now down. With that inhibitor down, that's going to give a big open window for the enemy team to take Baron. So clearing these double golems, not exactly the brightest choice. You've got lanes pushing up because these minions now have extra stats. More along the lines of health, you can see 785 health for the blue team and 685 for your team. So the inhibitor going down, giving them 100 extra health, which is what allows these lanes to push so well. So now well over 10,000 gold lead. 10.6 thousand, almost 11,000. So this is really terrifying. Tristana is at her late game state, having 4 items completed. Oof, man, she's going to hit like an absolute truck. On top of that, there's really not much armor, any sort of attack speed reducing item right now at all. The only thing being the hard CC of Fiddle and Lulu. And generally speaking, that's really not even going to reach her. So now what to do. It's just going to take one really, really big throw from the enemy team to really win this game. So the biggest deal being that early game from levels like 3 to 8, you could have made the biggest impact for your team. And I guess you did, but just not in the way that you may have wanted. Even though Corky... No, Corky, you had vision on her. Why are you firing that way? Alright, so it seems like I was called out on having a cold yesterday. I was saying, no, I'm just tired, blah, blah, blah. But it seems like I am getting a cold. So I apologize for sounding cruddy or... I don't know if you can hear anything going on, but it seems like I'm getting a little bit sick. But it's not going to impact my thoughts on the game. Wow, this is actually a big throw. Wow. Well, your carries are picking up several kills now. So we've got Caitlyn, Infinity Edge, Static Shiv. I love Static Shiv. I think it's a tremendous item. It's very underestimated. And a Last Whisper. So he's going to be doing a significant amount of damage. Corky, Triforce, Bloodthirst. Looks like he's going towards Infinity Edge. Would like to see a Last Whisper on him, but at the same time, his kit does do a significant amount of magic damage as well. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but at the same time, he is building more along the lines of an auto attack build. And so I don't think she realizes that she's been spotted, but at the same time, I think Corky may have had maybe under the impression that there was a ward that he just walked through. In the meantime, though, take a look at our Fiddlesticks. Level 13 compared to Sejuani's level 17. And this is all because she managed to keep control of her jungle, get farm, and by getting those levels, getting that jungle farm, was able to help snowball her team in a tremendous way. So now it seems like you guys have realized that they are on Baron. Getting that ward down. The thing is, are we gonna get the steal? No, no. Oh, wow. Immediately evaporated. Not getting the smite out was probably the biggest blunder. I don't know if you tried to smite it or not, but that Crow Storm, especially when you're only level 13, so it's only rank 2, you're not going to be stealing a Baron unless that jungle is incredibly slow to react. So this is going to be the end of the game right here. So we'll just fast forward to the end. See what fight results. I guess it's some big cleanup under a tower. Yep, Zing getting instantly blown up. That's 2. Tower. And that's going to be all she wrote. So first inhibitor going down, second inhibitor going down, and this should easily be 2 Nexus towers, and then the Nexus. Look, Riven even trying to be a little gutsy. Try to catch someone just before the fountain. Yep, there we go. So, whole game snowballed out of control. Hopefully the reasons I gave you make sense. I don't want you thinking that you're a bad player. I just think that some changes in your decision making, some changes in how you go about the game will make a huge difference in how the game results. And it's generally all because of those first couple early levels, especially on a jungler like Fiddlesticks. So anyway, interesting game. It's great to see a Fiddlesticks come out. Don't see him all too often. And hopefully in the near future I can get another replay from you with some vast improvements. But thank you for the submission, and I'll see you next time.